Hey, how's it going, everyone? I hope everyone's had a beautiful Valentine's Day today. Well, or at least by the time you guys seeing this, it will be Valentine's Day. Today, again, I'm finally finishing off the last review of one of the last turtles. Not a bad one, not exactly the best either. Talking about Donatello. So, of all the turtles that I've gone over so far, Donnie definitely has his own playstyle different from the rest. It's kind of weird though because of the way that he plays, and here's the main reason why is because of his trait. So of course at first, I'm just going to go over a basic breakdown as I've done over all the other videos. I know the other videos of the turtles were gradually getting shorter. Main reason why is because I was replicating or talking about the same thing over and over again, and I stopped talking about those things. So for example, all the turtles have the same starting strings, but there's very few differences to like the last parts of certain strings. So, now down to business. When it comes to Donatello and his playstyle, him and Leo kind of have this similar game of the range game. He has this amazing low overhead string that I believe he can cancel from as well, yeah. So this is just one example of something that he can do. He also has a very similar thing to Leo, how he can cancel into this multi-hitting bow staff fury attack. Every turtle does have these little differences as well. He calls it spinning splinters. Ouch. The other thing that's kind of cool about Donatello is that he can incorporate this anti-air grab. I'm not really sure if it is a grab, if that's what it's considered. It's considered an unblockable technically just because it only works for air attacks. But it does very good damage if you end up like landing this attack. It hits very hard. But what's better about it is that you can actually meter burn it for follow-up attacks. So if you were to figure out something like, say, I don't know, that attack for example, this is his version of the triangle square X combination. Every turtle has a different triangle square X combination and a direction that you need to push. For Donatello in this case, I am pressing 2-1 up 3. And that actually launches them up in the air. So I'm guessing that if like I was in the corner, or maybe if I'm fast enough mid-screen, that I might be able to pull this off. I don't know if I'm going to be completely able to though. Just a quick little down 2 combo just for the fun of it. So it's this, this, this. Yep, that works in the corner for sure. So as you can see, it's pretty good, decent damage whenever you're actually able to launch with it. The real question is how you're able to launch with it. So unlike the other turtles, Donatello does not really have a trait that launches. His trait only does 3 different things. The first one, which is just neutrally pressing the circle, it emits like this red looking disco light thing. When it does that, it actually blocks projectiles. So if you're fighting a zoning character or something, it ends up blocking those projectiles. It does not reflect them though, unlike other characters, how they have a wall that reflects it. It does not reflect it, it just gives it out of the screen and then it's gone for a few seconds. What's nice about that though is that it comes back very quickly, so even if you do use it, that variation does come back very quickly. He does have other ones as well though. The other one being away and circle, his more valuable one, the electric floor. Now as you can see, the recharge from it is also a little bit like longer, and that's because in my opinion this electric floor is his best one. It does unblockable damage from anywhere on screen, does a quick little like 5% or something really small, but it's very good for getting the first hits for meter advantage, as well as up close for characters that want to jump. So for example, sorry to call out the Batman players, but in a lot of situations, Batman players do have the tendency to jump. So do Robin players and sometimes Starfires because of their jump 3s. And I can't lie, it's because they have really good options whenever they're in the air. Donatello is a character that literally can thrive off of people trying to jump in at him or trying to do things like leave the ground, backdash, etc. because his trait stops them from having that as a part of their game plan. So Donnie is more of a character that you would want to pick out. If you're noticing habits that your opponent does consistently, whether it be jumping in on you consistently, that'd definitely be like the biggest one for this grabbing attack or unblockable. That's definitely going to be one of your bigger tools in this set. The other thing that's really cool about Donnie though is his jumping 2. So his like weapon-based attack, he ends up swinging his bow staff down under him, and it makes this amazing cross-up basically. This cross-up, though, it has a weird timing because they don't jump very high, not all the turtles do. So when you're coming down on top of your opponent, you have to kind of time when you want that stick to come out, or else it becomes a mid, and you want it to be an overhead. Other than that though, when it comes to Donnie and launching, he has the exact same mix as all the other turtles. The 1-1 string, that's a low. He has the overhead string as well. And then he has his own personal strings because of his staff and because of the variation string, is what I'm calling it, of the triangle, square, and X string. So for example, I already showed the triangle, square, up X, which can lead to more stuff if you're, you know, decent at the game. I'm not really great with Donatello yet, and I don't think I really plan to be, but as of right now, this is just where the game is standing. So I showed you his up version where he's able to combo from it. I showed you his low to overhead string, which is really sick. What's cool about this low to overhead string though is technically it's a 33-33-33, not just a 50-50. Because yeah, he can go low to overhead, or he can just probably stagger this low, but he can also end up canceling it into a shell shock, or not shell shock, a shell, what is it, like bombshell? And the bombshell, you can choose to cross up, or you can choose to hit same side. Whoops. Like that. That was the same side one. So between those options, it is kind of nice to have, and I'm pretty sure there is not a gap for the opponent to backdash, even though it looks like it. So I'm going to set the opponent to see if there is a gap in it. There is a gap in between the low to overhead, so that's a thing. There's still a gap in the 1-1. There always has been. The overhead string, there's not a gap in. Let's see if there's a gap in any of these. Ooh, okay, so there is a gap in the string that launches the opponent up in the air. The triangle, square, back X, or up X, sorry. If you end up using that string, there is a gap, but it looks like the range of it, because of the staff, can still catch people backdashing. I don't know if people are going to be able to out-poke you or not yet. I believe in some cases there's probably going to be areas where characters can poke or super out, so be careful whenever throwing that string out. The other one though that's kind of nice is he also has this really fast low attack that doesn't have any gaps or anything in it as well. So that's also a nice little bonus to have. And of course the low option is the safe option. The launching option is always really slow and is negative. Like really negative. He still has these options as well though with his staff. He has some pretty decent range in my opinion. It's very similar to Leo's range though. So I would still, as of right now, rather play Leo and Raphael over Mikey and over Donnie, because when it comes to ranged options and when it comes to punishes, these two characters seem to have the best options in the bag. And it looks like Donnie even has more gaps than even I knew of once I started labbing. So as of right now, that's kind of the basic, like, overdoing of the character. I don't really have anything else to really see from Donnie or from any of the other turtles that I'd be like, oh wow, yeah, that's a really good option. But other than that, that's his other low attack. I forgot about that one. Other than that, he's the exact same as all the other turtles. He has a air dive kick, he has the shell shocked, he has the shell or bombshell. Same 1-1 string, same 1-3 string. Everything else about this character is exactly the same except for his trait. His trait is basically going to be the big denominator for most of your fights. And the only other one that's somewhat valuable is this gravity one. It pulls the opponent to you in the middle of the match. It's kind of a weird one. I'm not really sure the best uses for it unless it's about footsies. That's really the only use that I see for this one, because then all of a sudden they're in range of different attacks. So it's a weirder one. It's not necessarily a bad one, but I would suggest giving it a little bit more effort of looking into its possibilities, because as of right now, Donnie seems to be one of just heavy footsie based long range attacks, but they're unsafe, they're full of gaps. He has the same mix up as the other turtles, but they're not any like greater or anything more special. What is kind of nice is just having the this unblockable one that prevents your opponent from jumping. That seems to be the best one as of right now. That's pretty much everything that there is for Donnie. I know each of these videos did basically get shorter and shorter, but that's only because I covered the same options for each of the turtles. When it comes to, I guess, one more bonus thing, because in each video I'm trying to include something that is different from the rest. If your opponent does try to jump at you, with Donnie obviously he has this anti-air grab. With all the turtles they have the same type of back 3, and that is a back X for those of you that don't know what that means. In any case scenario that an opponent jumps at you and they like somewhat misplace it, you can actually full combo punish them with a back X. I did start messing around with this as of recently. So just as an example, I'm going to set the AI to try to jump in at me from from right at this range. I accidentally reset it in the wrong area. Hang on. So we're going to jump in like this. And as you can see, if you end up landing a back X from a certain distance, it can catch your opponent jumping. Wow, his backdash is not that great. So I don't know what the best combos for Donnie are when it comes to that situation, but just letting you guys know, because this works with all of the turtles. If they try to end up jumping at like a different range on you, you can end up catching them with a back 3 out of the air. It's not necessarily an anti-air, but it's more of a footsie-based game. Because I mean, with Donnie, I can always just end up meter burning this for a full combo, but other turtles don't have that. That's pretty much it for Donatello, though. I mean, very simple, very like simple game plan, nothing too complicated or complex, other than the up close mix of like a bombshell every once in a while, which you could probably end up canceling a bombshell into this grabbing attack. But yeah, that's it for Donatello. I don't really have anything else for you. Well, as the final start off for all the turtles, I hope all of you fans out there have a really good time, and I think it's time for a super.
Coming through, bro. My turn. Shell shot.
Oof. That was actually kind of cool, wasn't it? I wish they brought them down into the sewers and stuff, though. It's the only thing I wish they also did with this game. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, as well as whatever type of stuff that you want to learn from the game. You can always end up sending me a message, preferably probably through YouTube at first. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please sub. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Hope you all got some amazing gifts, as well as maybe some fun nights. And much love. I'm out, guys. Peace.